there are three voices that the Lord showed me. And he said this: everyone's listening to someone. Everyone in this room is listening to someone. So someone's setting your core beliefs, which determine your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Everyone's listening to someone. Well, here's the challenge. If you get a revelation that religion doesn't work, that there's no life in it, that religion is not the way, okay? Religion is laws and rules. Not that Christ doesn't have any. He is our law. So when you engage him, it's going to be, don't do that, do this, say this, don't say that. Anybody, some of us could use a dose of that one, right? Don't say that, don't go there, but say this, do that. What's the Spirit speaking? So the Spirit is going to give you guidance and counsel and direction. But here's the thing. Religion, no, it's dead laws and rules. Okay? This is the list, now keep it. It's about performance. It builds up condemnation because you walk around measuring each other on the list. And then we build the condemnation and we build a hierarchy. When we get together, we have this hierarchy of holiness. Well, she's unholy. Well, look at him. He's unholy. Oh, she's unholy. So we start measuring ourselves among ourselves. It's wicked. You know what that creates? Jesus called it two things. He said that's a brood of vipers. And what else? Call them wolves. Wolves and vipers. That's not a name you want on your church sign. Okay? You didn't know handling snakes was going to be dealing with your brother, did you? Okay? This is run off of fear. This is knowing about Jesus, not knowing him, but knowing about him. Okay? This is man's systems. It's full of measuring. It's all about intellect. Quote the Bible, but don't know Jesus. Okay? It competes against relationship, and it requires no faith except for the faith to originally be saved. So people get saved, and then we move them into a system, a machine that causes them to produce what we need them to produce so that we can build an empire that we desire, a.k.a. the Pharisees. Okay? So now we have rulers among the Jews, and we have these, and we have it's all about position and power and prominence. Well, this is really just a form of the world, just with a spirit, with a spiritual ebb to it. It's not true, pure religion, undefiled. This is worldly religion, because the world is the second voice, and it's about the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And religion is really about the same thing. It's about the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. So those that are in control of the religion, they get to use the religion and its system and the people in order to get the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life that they desire. But they just put Christian labels on it. Okay? So the world is people and systems of the world. Okay? So you've got media, and you've got the worldly news, and the worldly, the politics, and you've got all the 7 different systems of the world, from economics to the social order to the media to the banking system. You've got all these systems that are of the world. Everybody say the world. The world's a system set up by Satan on the earth, which leaves God out. So it's Satan, but it's an echo of Satan. It's a reverberation of Satan, because he set the systems and the influences up, and those systems and influences are talking, but they're talking with pretty voices. That's lust, okay? They're talking with pretty voices that pull you in, but it's not like, I am Satan, so do this. It's like, I am Satan, I build this, and the thing he built says, oh, this is nice, so come and share, okay? Come. It's a bait and trap, all right? It's what it is. And so it also requires no faith. It doesn't require any faith to hear the enemy. It doesn't require any faith to be influenced by the enemy. Okay? It does require faith to hear Christ. It requires you to literally stop and engage him. I'm amazed when you look at the stories of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the people that had to stop to have conversation with him. No one just had conversation with him because they're like, oh, no. They had to go to him. There was an encounter, and that's the way you engage the Lord. It doesn't happen because you go to church service. You can go to church service and never hear from him. Okay? This is personal. All right, so that's the second voice. So here's the thing. This is the third voice. This is the voice of Christ, the one that is in you. He's in you. If you've been baptized in his name and you've been filled with his Spirit, he's in you. Okay? This, Paul said you have to abide, or Jesus said you have to abide. Paul talked about fellowshipping him, beholding him in real time. It's about knowing Christ, not knowing about him. It's about listening. Remember, a listening relationship. And then you're knowing Jesus. This is about the heart. This is not about knowing intellect. It's about him knowing you and you knowing him. You knowing his heart, him knowing your heart, him revealing your heart, him speaking to your heart, you giving yours to him and allowing transformation to come. This is true spirituality. It's based on identity. It's literally seeing and hearing. That's what it's based on, seeing and hearing. That's why the writer said, we've wrote unto you everything that we've heard and everything that we've seen. God works by seeing and hearing. And this is what is intimate, and it brings transformation. Now here's the challenge. Hold with me 1 second. If you understand that this doesn't work, performance, condemnation, fear, know about Jesus, man-made systems, measuring, intellect, okay, requires no faith. If you realize this does not work, and you say, I'm done with that, then you're left with two voices. And if you don't know how to hear from him, and you're not slowing down, I thank God that every eye is on me right now. If you don't slow down to engage him, behold him, talk to him, speak to him, allow him to show you things, allow him to reveal to you, if you don't slow down and do this, this is where our church is, then you don't have this. So you are saved and listening to this voice. So I'm not in religion and all this list of things. You do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. But you're not hearing from him either about what to say, what to do, where to go, what to give, how to this, what to that. What's in your heart, what's not in your heart. So now you're saved. Thank God we're saved. But you are going to follow after peoples and systems of the world, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. So it's like, I don't have to give this amount of money every week. No laws. But I'm not hearing from Christ either. So I'm just going to do this. Well, I'll tell you who's going to ask for your money. The lust of your eyes, the lust of the flesh, and your pride of your life. If you're over here, it's like, okay, you need to give your time. You need to do this, you need to do that. Everybody has to do that. Okay, well, guess what? This is not performance-based. I don't get my acceptance and approval for how I spend my time. But I'm not hearing from Christ about my time either. So guess who's going to get my time? The flesh. This is the voice of the flesh. The voice of the flesh and the voice of the world are the same. And Paul said, we cannot war with this flesh to get transformation in our mind. But we war after the Spirit. And so if you're not hearing from him, this is why, church, I don't care if we drop down to 30 people. I want 30 people hearing from Jesus. I want this to be so real. I want it to be so real, and I want it to be deep, and I want it to be Christ. I want to disappear, and I want it to be Jesus. Where you are literally saying, I do that because he told me. I ministered that because he did it in me.